she has fit in seamlessly since arriving as a transfer from Vanderbilt. In fact, she's a captain for Maryland and has them back in the Sweet 16. She is Brinae Alexander, and she is with us here on GCR. Brinae, it's Glenn. It's so great to catch up with you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited.
Brinae, how has this worked so seamlessly for you to arrive at a place where there are a lot of different faces? There are a lot of different faces for everybody. And to have it
Yeah.
work so well, both on the floor and off the floor, that you stepped up as a leader, how has this been such an easy adjustment for you?
Well, yeah, I feel like for one, for me, like in the second recruiting process, just being realistic with myself and my expectations and like my goals and what I want, out of a program. I think coming here, I love the atmosphere. I love the family feel. The coaches, all of them. I confide in, trust them. Just very genuine people as well as my teammates. And so I think coming in, I felt like I had a good, start of, just putting my best foot forward, taking all the tools that I learned leadership-wise from Vanderbilt and applying it here. And, it might have looked like it was simple and easy, but there were definitely some bumps in the road along the
Sure.
way. I think at the very beginning, it was hard to know, like what my actual role was going to be. Coming in, I didn't know I was going to be chosen like as a captain. I was very honored and like excited for that as well. I wanted to build like really good relationships with my teammates coming in, and that was like my main thing. Even if whatever happens on the floor, off the floor, I want to have great communication, great relationships with my teammates. So that was big for me. And then with the bumps in the road, I think learning my role, it just took some time to fill out our chemistry on the floor, like as a team. I think it was all of us knew that it was going to be different, but no one knew like really what to expect and how it was really going to go. So I think it just went with trusting the process really and just keeping my head down and working hard behind the scenes. And I feel like all of us are peaking at this perfect time. So I'm just really, really happy about that.
Brinae, I remember reading that you, in making this decision, had decided, hey, look, I'd be willing to trade off, individual, stats for the opportunity to
Right.
win. And it's interesting, right? Because now we get to the NCAA tournament. Like, this is the moment. This is why you're here. And the
Right.
stats are coming back with it, right? Like, you've scored 30 points in the first two games of the tournament. How much are you kind of
Yeah.
taking it upon yourself? Like, this is it for me. This is do or die. I have to give everything I can in these moments right now.
Yeah, I think for me, just seizing the moment, and I've never been, like you said, I've never been in this situation or been here before. So not only just like focusing on taking it one game at a time and trying to get out a win, but also just soaking in the moment and the experience and
Yeah.
being with my teammates and being with my coaches and traveling and getting like the NCAA, the swag bags and the gifts that we get, just like soaking up the whole experience of like, not everybody gets to do this, as I would know. And it's just a great experience, especially to share like with your teammates and even the seniors, that this is their last go around. So I think for me, it was just trust in the process. Like I said, I'm very glad that the stats are coming with it now. But starting off, I was like, I'll give up, playing 35 plus minutes,
Yeah.
being the leading scorer, pretty much having to know that, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, we won't come out on top like we want. That's how it was at Vandy. But here it's like, I'll take playing 20 minutes, if I can contribute and we're winning and we're getting that end result and we're playing in tournaments and, getting to be on that big stage playing against big opponents. So
That's been the
yeah.
case, and it's going to be the case again, obviously, on Saturday morning. Maryland, Notre Dame in the Sweet 16, 11:30 a.m. from down in South Carolina. We're chatting with Brinae Alexander here on GCR. Brinae, big games, obviously, it doesn't get bigger than the NCAA tournament. It's cool to hear you talk about the moment. Like, do you allow yourself to reflect a little bit on what it means to you to be doing this? Because I'm sure playing in the tournament, doing these things were things that you dreamed about when you were a kid. And as much as you want to win, like, you're giving yourself that opportunity to sort of reflect on what it means to you to be in this position.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just like making sure to take advantage and capitalize on the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't want to take anything for granted, and I don't want to ever, look back and ever say, what if I would have, or what if I did this, or what if I did that. I don't want to ever, look back and have that feeling. And so I think, like, personally, I just want to make sure, like I said, just want to make sure I seize the moment, but, soak up the experience. I have dreamed about this for a very long time, and it's kind of surreal that it's actually here, and then we're actually, like, playing in games, and we're, like, in a Sweet 16. Like, oh, my gosh, like, a Sweet 16, like, I never would have thought. And so I think I just want to make sure I don't regret anything.
That's cool. Brinae, obviously, this past weekend, the Arizona game, what happened at halftime? Who said what? Because, my God, y'all were a different team in the second half. Can you take me through what happened? And, can you sort of say to yourself, hey, if we can play like that, we're going to beat anybody that we go up against during the course of this tournament?
Right. Yeah, I think for us as a team, something that we focused on, like, throughout the entire year is, like, playing a full 40 minutes. And I think you get glimpses throughout the game, but there's still, those lulls. And we understand every team is not perfect by far, but there's still things we can clean up. And I think sometimes we have a really good start like we did against Arizona. We jump out. Sometimes it's easy for us to, kind of get complacent, get a little comfortable. And also know that these teams, like in these tournaments, like especially Arizona, like they're not backing down. They're not going away.
Mm-hmm.
And so, credit to them for fighting back like they did. And I think they basically just kind of like punched us in the mouth, and we were kind of in like a daze almost. And I think that halftime break was much needed, but also, gave us time to, really get locked back in as a team. So we have time, like, to ourselves as a team to talk, to like push our ideas and, talk about what we need to do. And then coach comes in. And obviously when coach came in, she gives us her 2 cents, and it's very much deserved. So, no one ever is, faulting that. But I think for us, we just talk about, come on, like, we know what we can do. We know how we can play. And sometimes we have those lulls. Sometimes we just have to remind ourselves, like, this is not the team we want to be. Like, we got to turn this around quick, or it could be our last game. And I think the severity of when I go home, I think that really, puts a perspective into everyone. Like, oh, we need to lock back in. Like, we need to get this together quick.
And look, it worked. Obviously, you got it together quick, and it was a heck of a performance. Brinae, obviously now Notre Dame, we know what happened the first time. It was not everybody remembers the shot that Diamond hit. I remember,
right.
You know what I remember about that game, Brinae? It was such a joy to watch because there was no separation. Like, it was just a battle back and forth the entire night. How much do you learn from that game as you get ready for this Saturday? Do you have to say, hey, look, we're both completely different teams. We don't fall back on it. And I assume you got to expect that's probably what you're in for, though, again, against a really good team, is just a true titanic battle between two teams that are unlikely to be able to separate themselves all that much.
Yeah, I think, like you said, we're definitely two completely different teams, because even I, think back and I'm like, wow, that really was like, that game was like our first, like, that was in our first, like, 5 to 7 games of the season. And it's like, that was so long ago. And for us to, be who we were in a bunch of girls that came from different programs, different walks of life, to kind of be thrown together and have to succeed. And for us to get over that hump of, like, we're on the road, going against their crowd, playing, this is the first couple games we've played together, and being able to, like, just get that gritty win, I think boosted our confidence a lot, and I think it will boost our confidence going into this next game because we know that, of course it's neutral site and things like that, but also, like I said, I think it's a totally different team. We're a totally different team, and I'm just really excited, and I think everyone is very locked in, and even though it is an early game, real early start, I think all of us know that, we got to start quick, we got to start early, we got to be able to punch first.
I think a lot of people on the outside are thinking about what could be after that. Do you, as a leader of this team, have to, spend a moment saying, if you hear the word South Carolina pop up, you say, hey, shut up, we ain't thinking about that? Have you had to,
Yeah.
to do any of that this week?
Well, I mean, as a realist, of course, everyone knows what comes after this game. But at the same time, we also make sure we're, taking it one day at a time, one game at a time, one possession at a time. And, just staying where our feet are and being present and just knowing that we have to take care of business at, Saturday first before we can think about and move on to that next game.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And boy, how electric that would be if it works out that way.
Yeah,
but
right.
but first things first, Notre Dame. I completely understand. That's what you guys have, and that's all you can worry about. Brinae Alexander, what can we plug for you? Social media, NIL stuff, whatever it is, what can we plug for you?
Well, yeah, you guys can follow me on my Instagram. It's Brinae Alexander. I'm also on TikTok at Brinae15. And I do have some gear, some shirts for my NIL. They're also tagged in my link tree in my Instagram bio. Go support those. I also have jerseys that are also linked in my bio. So, yeah.
Awesome. Brinae, it's been such a joy to watch you play and the way that you have fit with this team and how this team has come together, to your point. It is so much fun to watch you guys play. Go get them this weekend. May we be talking again about
Thank
you
you
all
so
cutting
much.
down some nets. Thank you for
Yeah,
taking.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I
And thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank